Hey guys, Buckeye Bar guys. We wanted to thank you guys for tuning in to us here on Buckeye Bar Talk. Great show we got coming up today. We're really looking forward to you guys listening and watching it. But just wanted to remind everybody, just remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the all notifications bell, and that way, anytime a new show comes up, you guys will be alerted to it. And don't forget to like the video and comment on the video. All interactions with us helps us continue to grow, and we appreciate your support. Now to the show. Welcome back, everybody, to Buckeye Bar Guys here on Buckeye Bar Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm John.
And tonight is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Buckeyes had a huge three huges for three big receivers committing this week, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. It was pretty spectacular show over those 3 days. So basically we got Carnell Tate on Monday, Brandon Innis on Tuesday, and Noah Rodgers on Wednesday. Tate, I think everybody felt pretty confident about. Everything was trending Ohio State's way in the weekend, and when he announced that Monday was going to be commitment day, I was pretty confident we were going to get him. The other two, it wasn't that I was unconfident that we were going to get him. Not confident. I wasn't expecting to go that quickly. I mean, I guess when somebody, I forget which one of them put up like the Drake, we're gonna do like the Drake song. Was it Tate or was it Petoni or one of them? So I should have figured it out that Innis was probably going on Tuesday, but.
Well, I mean, he didn't put all the lyrics in it. He said, "What did Drake say?" And that was actually alluding to what Hartline had put down for the draft, because Hartline put down when his guys went back to back. He said, "What did Drake say? Back to back." So It was kind of like alluding to that, but a lot of people didn't get that right. They put up different lyrics from Drake, and then I think it was Innis that said, "What did Drake say? Back to back." Like he finished it for Tate the next day. And then the whole world just exploded, and, every receiver ever came to Ohio State.
Yeah. And that's already talking about, we already have Bryson Rodgers, the Rodgers twins.
Yeah.
With slightly different name spellings, but still, they are, so they already had a good receiver in the mix. And then just the fact that those two went, Monday, Tuesday. I mean, I was pretty confident we were going to get both of them. I just didn't think Innis was going to go on Tuesday right after Tate. And, I was liking where everything was trending with Rodgers, Noah Rodgers, on, that he basically decided to leave his, he was on, visiting NC State, which is a home school for him. And then he just decides to leave halfway through it, or during the day on Friday or whatever, and head to Ohio State for his official visit. So, I felt pretty good about that. I just never expected that would be Wednesday. It was but whatever. It was a good feeling this week.
Oh yeah, I mean, excellent week for Ohio State for sure. Let me just pull everybody up here. So Brandon Innis, this is according to 247. So he is the 18 ranked player, the number 2 receiver in the country. You don't have to go too far down for Carnell Tate. He's the 28th ranked player, number 3 receiver in the country. Both, according to 247, are 5 stars. And then I know you got to go a little bit further down, but number 9 receiver in the country is Noah Rodgers, which I'm not sure where he's at on here right now. He's actually the 50th ranked player, 247.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I saw. He was number 50.
Yeah. So he's a 4-star. So yeah, I mean, huge haul. You got Bryson Rodgers already there, which, I mean, a lot of people, it's funny. And I know you and I were trying to focus on all the good on all this. So I hate to be that guy, but there are so many people that were like, oh my God, we took a 3-star receiver. What's wrong with us? Like, one, trust Brian Hartline, trust the process. He knows what he's looking at. But 2, I've seen so many people now that are like, oh my God, they took another receiver. This is going to be terrible. You're going to have people transferring out of there. If you got older guys transferring out of there because of younger guys, that means they didn't play. So,
like, these kids aren't coming in until after next year. So there's a good chance JSN's gone.
Fleming could be gone. You never know what he does this year.
Fleming could be gone. And then, I mean, depending on how Harrison and Emeka do, they could be gone the following season, So, like, I don't see where, I think the biggest risk you probably have is you could possibly see some transfers out of last year's guys because, that's where you're going to start getting maybe a little clogged up a little bit. But still, I mean, hey, the way you got to right now assume that if some of these guys aren't seeing the field, you're going to start losing them because that's how the recruiting thing is going, or how the transfer portal is going right now. So, you got to kind of consider bringing in 3-4 receivers this season, and they did with.
But with the way people, with how transfers are going and how recruiting is just so heavy on like a couple teams, that really only a couple teams are ever at the top of the recruiting battles. It doesn't make sense if you have a chance to take 3 5-star receivers to say, no, I'm only taking one of you and I'm going to take 2 3-stars because I don't want to upset the class before. Like, and that's what Ohio State does right now. Like, they throw the ball. This is what's helping Dave bring in all these quarterbacks. Like, you're not bringing in these 5-star quarterbacks to hand the ball off. I mean, that was established earlier with, whatever was said about Lloyd Carr's grandson about Michigan, about handing the ball off. Like, 5-star quarterbacks don't want to play in that offense. So if you want to be happy with the QB you get, you got to take these receivers, top end guys, and you need the competition. And I think I think people get upset about it. I think they think like the rest of the recruiting isn't like doing well, but if you got the greatest recruiter ever at a position, let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Don't find something to complain about.
And I don't see where anybody else's or any of the other recruiting is really falling off. I mean,
no, it's just his recruiting is so above everyone else's in the country. It makes it like it puts a shadow over the rest of the team. And I don't think people stop and realize that. Like, Ohio State is not taking like a serious step back defensively recruiting or offensive line.
No, yeah, they're fine. And, that's like I know we were talking about this earlier. We were, mentioning some Ohio State fan. I mean, somebody brought it up on Twitter. An Ohio State fan, went on the Michigan board and basically was pointing out all the, that they basically have been recruiting at the top level defensive players, right with Alabama and Georgia over the last how many years. And so, there is no drop off. You get one season and you get to brag about the one season that you won. And, that was that. And, we'll see how it goes for them this year, Michigan. But
yeah, you do it again, I'll be impressed. I don't think so. And I don't think they got the guys to really cover what Ohio State can do offensively.
Yeah.
But I said it last year too. So I'll be the first to own up to that.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, this year's just going to be, everybody just forgets too. I mean, you might arguably have a top 3 running back in the country, probably, in your backfield and probably a top 10 running back that's going to be in there too. So like, I mean, and that's not necessarily worth yards and stuff. Maybe they're not probably going to be, one of them might end up in the top 10 in yards and touchdowns and stuff like that. Both won't, but, very easily, if they were playing on other teams, I mean, Trey Henderson would be probably a 2,000-yard back. Yeah, absolutely. Mayan Williams would probably be a 1,500-yard plus back. Yeah,
and Evan Pryor could easily be 1,000+ yard running back.
Yeah, so it's
definitely do, all-purpose yardage for him.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not too worried, so we'll see what teams can do against him this year. I mean, it's crazy to think that, here we're talking about, these big hits in recruiting, and, we might have another big one here coming up in next week, depending on, how much Caleb Downs, likes. I don't know if he's got it set that he's going to recruit right after or commit right after, but, after this momentum, you never know. Like, he could, commit right away.
I think some of the defensive guys, they are a little bit further away from. Caleb Downs sounds like he might be one of the closer guys, but, oh my God, I can't think of his, the linebacker from Louisiana. I'm blanking on his name.
I know who you're talking. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about. The one that had a good relationship though with Knowles.
Tackett Curtis, is that his name? Or maybe I got that all mixed up, but, he's right there. The Troy Bowles, I heard they're gaining momentum back with him as a linebacker. So they're getting right there. There's two stud, defensive players from Glenville. Always good to see, that pipeline could get started back up again.
The kid out of Winton Woods that,
got a Bama offer today.
Yeah. So he put in his top schools, but it seems like he's planning on committing next week. You gotta like where Ohio State's in that position. Kids from the Buckeye State, and he basically gets his offer, and now he's added a couple offers now. I know LSU's offered him and Bama's offered him, so got a lot to think about. That's not
But what's good for Ohio State is it sounds like, even though that that's hard competition, definitely down south with DBs especially, but. And I don't know what the offer sheet looked like before Ohio State, but it really seemed like that was the first upper echelon Power 5 to really, offer him. And being the home state, he's not going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's not going to be mad at the Buckeyes. He's not going to think, hey, they just tried to save face with me, or they're getting into the recruitment.
I think the fact that he decided after that, I'm ready now to commit, and it's going to come next week, that I think that bodes well for them. That, it doesn't seem like, he's rushing it to rub it in Ohio State's face. It's like he got the offer he wanted to get, he probably loved Ohio State, and, so it's, I'm going to take this while before somebody jumps in, and then maybe they decide to pull it or something like that.
Well, it's because he got the LSU offer and the Alabama offer after Ohio State, but it's kind of I don't know, he's not about playing games or something, that, he's not really given opportunity. I don't want to hear, too many pitches from too many people. I got what I want. And other people have recognized me, and he's going to go somewhere. Hopefully it's the Buckeyes.
Exactly. It seems like, Justice Haynes said, there's been some rumblings that Ohio State might be, holding strong there, that, they might be in that top two, so, that could be a big get. I know we already got a big running back in, but I'd like to get one more, just to bring it in.
And give Tony a chance with anybody. He's not, he might not be Brian Hartline, but he's,
I like where we're at with offensive line. Like to see us pull in another lineman or, two in there. But, I'm not going to be, I know that a couple of the big guys on the list are going elsewhere or ready to go elsewhere. I'm not ready to go down on Fry on that one yet. That I just think that, he needs to establish himself, and if they good this year, he'll be fine going forward. It's just his first year.
Well, yeah, I know. He needs that year at Ohio State, have a good year with your line. And I think your recruiting's going to take off from there, but he was with Chip Kelly at UCLA before that, and nothing against Chip Kelly. The guy's a great offensive mind, but just, Stud was an Urban Meyer guy. So you had a little bit of backing from one of the greatest recruiters ever, greatest finishers in Urban Meyer. Yeah. And Stud was a proven, offensive line coach for years and years. And Fry's getting there for sure. Just, I think he needs to do it, the 1 year at the big university, and then it opens everything up for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as long as I think obviously Day's going to be looking to be a primarily, throw first team. Obviously, I mean, that's what they are. But I think Day probably really helps him out too by, they're going to, Trey and Mayan and even Pryor are going to get their touches and they're going to get yards. And, that looks good that looks very good on the offensive line coach too, if, they look good. So, so I think that will happen. But I mean, let's just real quick, before we we weren't really planning on a really long show tonight. This was going to be a pretty, quick one as we just kind of wanted to just quickly go over some of the recruiting stuff from this week. But I mean, let's take a couple minutes here and talk about Hartline because I mean, this dude just continues to prove himself over and over and over again. And like, I've joked around this week that, I mean, it's time to pay him. He might be the receivers coach. It's time to pay him offensive coordinator money because I don't know what his, future plans are or not. Does he want to ever be a head coach? Is he just content with, cause, the money he's made in his life that, he wants to be at his alma mater for, as long as he wants to be at his alma mater as a position coach or maybe even offensive coordinator one day. Cause you gotta figure that, Kevin Wilson, eventually somebody's going to have to want to offer him a drive. I'm kind of surprised that nobody's kind of snatched him up. I understand the Indiana baggage, but yeah. I mean, I think he should have been able to separate himself now from that. And Ohio State's offense, I mean, you could say it's Ryan Day's offense all you want, but, he is the offensive coordinator. He gets credit for that. And so I'm surprised that somebody hasn't tried to come in and take him yet. So,
Well, and if you don't know, Kevin Wilson's a great offensive mind in his own right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's plenty of athletic directors around the country that know that about him.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just gotta, I know Hartline, alma mater, he loves Ohio State. I mean, I think Ohio State would have to do a lot to pee him off to decide that, I want to go somewhere else. But, they got to start keeping in the back of the mind that, dude deserves money. And I don't know, does it come with, getting some sort of recruiting coordinator title eventually or, whatnot. I don't know what that ends up being like that they have to give him whatever extra title to, try to get him into, well into, low 7-figure territories. Like he probably, and, if you're going to keep Wilson, like it's almost like to the point that, they might have to both be paying both of them Knowles money that, cause it's like, got to keep him happy. And, the boosters, I was joking around. I don't know what kind of NIL deal Brian Hartline deserves, but, he deserves it.
There isn't a more
sponsorships.
Right. Right now, I don't think there's a more valuable position coach in America. Of course, if Knowles fixes what's wrong with the defense, and they win a national title, then, that pays for itself. But right now, I don't think for a position coach, I don't think there's a more valuable position coach in America. Hartline's interesting to me because, he's been on this upward trajectory since he got in 2018. So you're telling me, phone calls we don't know about that some NFL team hasn't already reached out to him with a boatload of money. Some SEC team hasn't already reached out to him with a boatload of money. He's turned everybody down. So part of me thinks, yes, he's happy being at his alma mater, coaching the position he loves, getting all these top talent to come in and making them better to go off to the NFL. That's part of it. Second part of me, though, believes that anyone that has that drive to be a pro athlete, there's always that itch in them for more, that they want to achieve more, that they want to do more. And could that be, go somewhere, be an offensive coordinator, call his own plays, see how that goes? Could that be go be a head coach somewhere? I don't know. Could that be take his receiving, just a receivers coach, but to the next level finally and take an NFL job? It could be all of those things. Or any of those. It could be all of those. It could be none of them. So I don't know, what you need to pay him to keep him there, but I agree with about everyone else that you just give the guy a blank check. The only one on that team that should be making more money than him should be Ryan Day at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's giving you the greatest receiving recruiting in the history of college football within a 4-year span. Like that's
that's the thing. I mean, when you really look at the names and just like, and they're contributing. It's not even like these guys aren't contributing, and it's like, and then you get 3 in a row to go into the NFL, and it's like, that's just like, I mean, there's a chance that possibly the kids he's going to pull in next year might even be on paper better than these kids. Like, and that's, right. You literally got 2 of the top 3 receivers in the country that are 5 stars. So I don't even know how that's possible. Like,
well, and I don't know where JSN ended up. I know he ended up with 5 stars. But I mean, you got the number 1 in Fleming, that first year, but you got all rolled, the guy that was way underrated until his senior season, Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I mean, he's just lived up to all the hype around him. You got the number 1 recruited, Emeka Egbuka the year after that. Caleb Burton was number 1 until he committed with Ohio State. And then I don't know if he had injuries or what, but then he went.
And, Marv Jr., his dad is a NFL Hall of Famer. So, like, there has to be something there. Like, Hartline had to speak to him, like, in some way. Like, Marv Sr., to give his blessing for his son. I mean, I'm sure I don't think he probably was like, oh, you can't go this school, can't go that school. I don't know. Maybe he did, but obviously it seems like that there was a blessing there. Yeah, go to Ohio State. It seems like the best fit for you. Like, from one NFL receiver to another, like, Brian Hartline had to probably check all the boxes for Marv Sr. to be like, yeah, I want my son to go there.
Yeah.
And, so, like, I mean,
and he'll be another one drafted in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just crazy that just, like, I don't know, like, and I don't want to come off as like you think you're pushing Ryan Day out the door, because this is my next statement is absolutely not this. If Ryan Day, especially if he starts winning championships, if he wants to stay 30 years in Columbus, retire as the head football coach at Ohio State, whatever, that's great. If he's a winner and they bring in titles and stuff like that, I'm all for that. But, everybody always kind of wonders, once he ready to go on to the next level, is it Luke? Could Urban come back to Ohio State? Is like everybody kind of throws those 2 names out there. But I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, they've already kind of made the jump into the water, giving a kind of a green head coach the reins, but given date. So they've already crossed that bridge. So,
right.
What if in a year or 2 they decide, well, we're going to promote Hartline to offensive coordinator, and then maybe in a couple of years they win a couple national titles. Ryan Day decides, I want to try the NFL. I've accomplished what I want to accomplish here in college. Hartline could be the guy. I mean, he could very much.
I mean, you don't want to lose him with staff turnover. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, and you've already shown this year that you're willing to spend the money to get the right people around a coach that might not be that CEO of a program, that, he kind of specializes in one thing, and they're like, okay, well, we'll bring in Jim Knowles for, $2 million to try to right the ship on the defense. And we'll see if it works or not. I mean, I hope it does. But yeah, I mean, that they've shown that they've done that. So I don't think that they would not do that for Hartline. If, he gets in there, like, make sure that he's not over his head. Like, we'll get you someone that actually knows what they're doing, to run your defense for you. You just worry about, getting a cohesive unit on offense. So yeah, it could happen. I mean, I don't know. Does he want that? I don't know.
Exactly. So yeah, no, pretty stoked. Anything else Buckeye recruiting wise you really hit for this week? I mean, no. It was a great week. I mean,
nothing for the Buckeye. Today, right. The number 1 recruit in the country did commit, though. I think you wanted to talk about that.
I just wanted to, mention a little bit about it. Is that, it's just funny that Uncle Eli and Gramps, they went to Ole Miss. Uncle Peyton went to Tennessee, and Arch decided he's going to go to another burnt orange with UT and their Texas, man, Longhorn. So they're getting ready to go to the SEC in a few years, and he's going to be bringing them into the SEC. So, I mean, big win for Texas on that one. So, good job, Sark, and whatever boosters paid for him to get in there. But, I mean,
hey, the name of the game now.
Yeah. It's not even like it's being about joking around. I mean, I hope he got a hell of an NIL deal. I mean, I'm sure he did.
I can tell you any Michigan fan that tries to make some snarky comment in the future about Ohio State paying more for their players, could say, well, good for them. They did what they had to do to get them there.
Yeah. That's,
happy I root for them.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could try to be transformational, but it's very much transactional right now. And, it's time to start playing the game, Michigan. No, I mean,
they like having their built-in excuses for being losers, though.
I know. So, I mean, it seemed like Georgia was winning this thing. So, like,
I thought
it didn't seem like he was
committing to Georgia. I don't know what happened. I thought I saw that.
Like, it seems like, I mean, I didn't expect him to go to Ole Miss or Tennessee. But it seemed like Georgia was I felt Georgia was going to get him. And if Georgia was not going to get him, I just had this, I'm like, Nick Saban's going to slide. I mean, Nick Saban could still slide his way in there. I don't know. And be like, Arch is coming to Tuscaloosa. He ain't going to Austin. And, but so we could be seeing, beginning of 2025, their first year heading into the SEC, they're supposed to open up in Columbus that year, the Longhorns. So, I mean, we could be seeing Arch, leading them, in Columbus in 2025, assuming that, I would think Quinn will be gone by then.
Could be, unless things don't go well for him, but
yeah.
All signs should point to Quinn being gone by then.
So, I mean,
he can leave after next season, right?
Yeah, he should. I mean, because this will be year 2 for him this year, and then year 3 would be next year. So he could leave
after 23.
Yeah. So Arch will be coming in 23. So his third year would be, in Columbus. So I would think that, unless he transfers out of Texas, that, we'll probably be seeing them at the beginning of the season. Unless somehow they sneak their way out of that contract, because, I'm surprised, with them going into the SEC that they haven't started broaching the subject yet. It'd be like, that's kind of a hard
as is. Yeah. I mean, it could happen.
I mean, if I'm Ohio State, I'm holding them to it though. Like, no, you guys are going to play us that year. That's because that's a home game.
Don't hold your breath on the game happening, but yeah, I mean, do your best to make sure it happens.
Yeah. Or whatever out in the clause is. I mean, I'm more speaking of the schedules, not to go too deep on the tangent, I'm more interested in what's coming up in the couple of years after that, when we're supposed to play Alabama. I hope that game stays, that series stays, because I mean, that will be a hell of a series.
Sure.
Even, I mean, I expect Nick to be gone by then. I don't know if Ryan Day will still be in Columbus at that point, but I would still expect that whoever's the head coach of either.
Is it 28 and 29 or 29 and 30?
I thought it was 27, 28.
Okay.
Like, I think it's closer than that, but I could be wrong, but I thought it was 27, 28. It might even be 26, 27. It might be the next school after Texas. Like,
Saban will still be there then.
He should be, but
he's like the $6 million man, Mike. They'll just rebuild him. They're not going to let him go anywhere.
Yeah, so who knows about that, but I definitely hope that game stays on the schedule, because that will be a hell of a game. Of course, who knows, by then I'm expecting the playoffs to be expanded by then. So, we'll probably, that won't be such a big deal that you're playing Alabama to begin with, opening up the season for either, or to play Ohio State to begin with for either one of those schools. That, that's a big payday coming in for both of those schools. So
absolutely.
All right. I think if we don't have anything else we want to hit this week, this will probably be, even though we've been a little bit sporadic over the last couple of months to begin with, this will be the last show for a couple weeks as we're going on vacation next week. We're hitting a big fishing trip. So, in the country up north. So, we'll be, out of town and probably out of any range to think we'll be going on to any, so there won't be a show for probably a week and a half at least, maybe 2 weeks, just depending on how everything, when we get back in,
we're not doing a show before we leave, right? So, I mean,
unless something major happens between now and when we leave next week, that there's no show coming up. If there's a huge breaking news, and I don't know what that would be. I mean, it would have to be Arch Manning deciding that he doesn't want to go to Texas anymore. He's going to Columbus. The big receivers are ahead. I don't know who's left. Who's really? I know there's some big recruits still out there. But I don't know if we'll be breaking in to do a show for any of them.
Maybe
we might do it if Caleb Downs beforehand. We might do a couple minutes, or maybe if somebody else commits, maybe we'll do a 10 to 15 minute, just throw something out there to just give our quick opinions. But so I mean, yes, that could happen.
I'm saying probably. Not for 2 weeks at the earliest. A full length one for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's get on out of here for the night.
Well, thank you everyone for stopping in tonight to the Buckeye Bar. I'm John.
I'm Mike.
OH.
IO.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Buckeye Bar Guys on Buckeye Bar Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that all notifications bell so you see when new content is added, and please remember to like and share so we can grow our audience. Don't be afraid to comment. We want to know what you're thinking, and we want to know what content to add for you guys. OH.
IO.